very much. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, and especially honored guests. Thank you for coming. You add a lot to the meeting. As our van descended the steep road, literally carved out of the side of a desert cliff, I had a horrible feeling. I knew something was going to go wrong. It had nothing to do with the fact that we stopped, looked out of the van over the edge, and saw the hulk of the rusting hulk of the truck down below that had fallen off the road sometime before. No, it wasn't that. Although I did gasp and utter a bad word, and everyone thought I was talking about that. We were making our way to the put-in, the place that we were going to start a canoe trip on the Green River. 4 days, 90 miles of wet, wild, desert adventure. I was in charge of organizing the trip, and that included packing most of the food and drink, organizing the canoes, organizing the shuttle down to the river, organizing the jet boats that would bring us back to the town of Moab. And if you haven't done that, it's a big job. There's lots of details, almost all of which really matter. And once you leave the town of Moab, what you have is what you have, and you aren't going to have any more, at least for 4 days. As I mentioned, my concern in bad language had nothing to do with the road. It was the fact that I had forgotten to pack sodas for the 4 grade school kids who were along. This is not a roughing trip. This was a luxury trip. I had beer. I had every kind of beer you could imagine. I had light beer, dark beer, lagers, ales, pilsners. We had wine. We even had gin and tonics for the adults, complete with ice. But I had made the decision to buy the soda in Moab, and it just slipped my mind as I was attending to all these other details. As we loaded the canoes at the put-in, my cousin said, "Gee, could I have a beer?" I said, "Sure, why not? It's a hot day, it's dry, it's dusty, the wind's blowing up the river, beer would be great." So I reached into the cooler, got a wonderfully icy beer. It looked like something out of the Budweiser ad. I gave him the beer, and that's when my cousin, when my niece, Rachel, said, "Gee, could I have a soda?" Well, the moment of truth was upon me. The awful time had arrived. I said, "Rachel, I forgot the soda, there's no soda." The kids looked at me like, "Wow, we trusted you, we're on this adventure. We have no soda, what is going on here? This is the first time ever you've let us down." The women on the trip looked at me and said, "Wow, we have discovered new heights of parental incompetence." The men looked at me and said, "Geez, we'd like to help you, but you're in so deep, we don't know." If this was a snowdrift and you were in winter, we'd have to wait till spring to come back and help you out. And then Stephanie Beckley came through for me, my wife's friend. She had literally at the last moment bought a 6-pack of Blue Gatorade and brought it along, and she said, "Kids, I'll give you each one of my Gatorades, so that's 4 of the Gatorades. I'm going to keep 2 for myself." And that's as good as we can do. And then all of a sudden it flashed on me. I had an opportunity to redeem myself. And redeem myself with a story in Blue Gatorade. And I said, kids, you have an opportunity before you. You have an amazing opportunity. I'm going to illustrate this opportunity by the story of the tea house in Japan. Now, the tea house in Japan is at the end of a 6-mile walk. Steep hillside, hard walk. It's going to take you 2 hours to get there. And once you get there, you can buy a cup of tea for $1 or $100. Now, what's the difference between the $1 tea and the $100 tea? Well, nothing on a superficial sense. It comes in the same cup, it's the same tea, served by the same person, you're sitting in the same room with everybody else. However, if you spend $100 on a cup of tea, you're going to remember that cup of tea. You're going to remember how it felt in your hands, the warmth. You're going to remember who you were with. how it felt to fork over $100 for a cup of tea when you could have paid $1. And so it's just this situation you find yourself in now. You can go ahead and drink the Gatorade right now, finish it off quickly, or you can take this opportunity to savor this bottle of blue Gatorade over a 4-day period. You can sip it when you get up. You can drink it as the sun's going down, looking up at the beautiful red rocks and the sky. Remember, did you have sand between your toes as you were drinking your Gatorade? And sure enough, all 4 of the kids decided to accept the Blue Gatorade challenge, and they loved drinking that Blue Gatorade and treasuring that Blue Gatorade over a 4-day period. So, amazing what kind of teaching power we can find in a bottle of Blue Gatorade. To this day, all 4 of those kids have been on an amazing selection of vacations, and my friend paid me a great compliment, and he said, you know, the vacations that our kids talk about, it was the Green River canoe trip, and they will never look at a bottle